If you're in the CPA world, you definitely know the feeling. It's like you're running on a hamster wheel, especially during tax season, right? You're bringing in more clients, putting in more hours, but the profit just isn't keeping up. It's a really frustrating cycle. But what if the problem isn't about how hard you're working, but about how your firm is actually structured? Today, we're going to break down a strategic redesign that's helping firms get off that wheel for good. So, here's our roadmap. First, we'll get to the root of the problem and unpack what we're calling the growth paradox. Then, we'll dive into the core solution, which is all about a new mindset around outsourcing. After that, we'll show you what it looks like in the real world, give you a step-by-step blueprint to make it happen, and finally, we'll wrap up by answering some of the biggest questions firms have when they're thinking about making this shift. So, does this sound familiar? Your client list is getting longer, your team is completely maxed out, but when you look at the bottom line, profitability is kind of flat, and you can just feel that morale is dipping. If you're nodding along, you're definitely not alone. And listen, this isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a symptom of a broken model that's really plaguing the whole industry. And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the matter. The issue isn't about effort. CPA firms are full of hardworking people. The issue is structure. The firms that are really succeeding aren't just working harder, they are working so much smarter. They've totally redesigned their operations to use their team's amazing talent for the highest value work, not just the highest volume of work. Okay, so let's dig into that structural problem, what we're calling the CPA growth paradox. This is the key to understanding why, for so many firms, growing your client base leads directly to this unsustainable level of pressure on everyone. It's really like a perfect storm. You've got tax laws that are constantly changing. Deadlines seem to be getting tighter every year. Clients expect more, and they expect it faster. And all of this is happening while the local talent pool is shrinking and getting way more competitive. These aren't just separate issues, no. They all compound and pile on top of each other, creating this immense pressure that can stretch even the best teams to their breaking point. All that pressure forces a choice. You either burn out or you build better. And that brings us to the solution. A total mindset shift around outsourcing. Now, this is not about getting a temporary fix for tax season. This is about a permanent operational upgrade for year-round stability and, you guessed it, real growth. You can really see the difference in thinking here. The old view was all about being reactive, plugging leaks when the dam was already breaking. The new strategic view is proactive. It's about designing a stronger foundation right from the start and making flexible talent a permanent strategic part of your firm's architecture. So, what does this new model actually get you? Well, in a word, balance. It shifts the weight. All those repetitive, recurring tasks get handled efficiently by a dedicated team, and that frees up your core senior staff to focus on what they do best, high-value client strategy. The work that builds relationships and actually grows the firm. This whole approach ends that frantic scramble for seasonal help and creates consistent, high-quality work all year round. Okay, theory is great, but let's get practical. How does this actually work day to day? In this next section, we'll look at exactly how this new model applies to the core services that pretty much every CPA firm provides. This chart lays it out perfectly. Let's take tax prep. The common challenge: intense seasonal volume, staff overtime, crazy tight turnarounds. The optimized solution? You outsource the prep work so you can process more returns way more efficiently. For payroll, which is high responsibility but low margin, you outsource it to ensure accuracy and free up your internal staff. And for audit support, you leverage support teams for all that time-consuming documentation and prep. You see the pattern here, right? Delegate the routine to elevate your team's focus. And to make this all work, firms are tackling the talent shortage head-on. They're realizing they're no longer limited to hiring in their own zip code. Expanding the talent search globally isn't just some fringe idea anymore. It's quickly becoming a standard strategic practice for any firm that wants to stay competitive. And the key that makes this whole global model work is seamless integration. Just imagine having access to entire teams and are already trained in US accounting standards, ready to plug directly into your existing workflows. This gives you the power to scale your capacity whenever you need it without ever sacrificing the quality and control that your firm's reputation is built on. So, how do you actually make this happen? Well, that brings us to the blueprint. This is the simple, actionable framework that successful firms are using right now to completely transform their operations. It's a really clear four-step process. First, you identify the bottlenecks, those repetitive tasks that just eat up valuable time. Second, you document the process for those tasks. Be super clear. Third, you implement by starting small with one specific, well-defined service. And fourth, and this is absolutely critical, you review. You have to maintain strong internal review controls. The goal is to optimize before burnout hits, not after. Of course, a shift this big is going to bring up some questions. It's totally natural. So in our final section, let's just tackle the most common concerns we hear from firms that are making this change. This is a big one. A lot of small or mid-sized firms wonder, is this really for me, or is this just a strategy for the giant firms out there? And the answer is a huge, resounding no. In fact, it's often the small and mid-sized firms that see the biggest benefits. Why? Because it gives them the ability to compete with much larger firms by scaling their capacity and their capabilities, all without the massive overhead that comes with aggressive full-time hiring. Okay, here's another crucial one. What are the clients going to think? We all know the client relationship is everything, so it's only natural to worry about how a change in the back office might affect that. Well, what firms consistently find is that clients don't even notice the operational changes. They don't see what's happening behind the curtain. All they see are the positive results: faster delivery, quicker responses to their questions, and more strategic face time with your senior team. In the end, it actually makes the client relationship stronger. And finally, people ask if this is just another way of talking about getting help during tax season. Is this a year-round strategy or just a temporary thing? Absolutely not. While it is a massive help for tax season, the real value comes from year-round optimization. Services like payroll, bookkeeping, and ongoing compliance support are perfect for this model, creating efficiency every single month of the year. Let's bring this all together with this one core idea. It really captures the entire shift we've been talking about. The firms that are truly thriving today aren't just doing more work. They're strategically doing the right work internally. Ultimately, it really comes down to this. You can keep pushing that boulder up the hill, or you can build a smarter system to get you to the top. This kind of operational optimization isn't a luxury anymore. It is the defining competitive advantage for sustainable growth. So the final question is for you to think about. Is your firm currently designed for more effort, or is it designed for real, actual growth? The answer to that question is going to define your future.